Open your eyes.
Welcome to Chat of the Wild, episode 3.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. It is
Just a heads up, we are going to be talking about story spoilers.
Like, immediately.
like probably from here on out.
Yes, pretty much every episode.
Hi, Jeremy. I'm Brian.
Yeah.
Hi, Brian. I'm Tyler. Hi,
Hi.
Jeremy.
Hi, Tyler. I'm Jeremy. This is actually take 2 of this one. So.
Take 2.
Yeah.
Take 2.
So, yeah, we're going to be talking story stuff going forward, really. Right off the bat, we're going to be talking about what we learned when we are ready to leave the Great Plateau. And that, first off, is...
The old man is dead.
Well, yeah,
Well,
that's
yeah,
one
I
of the
mean,
things.
technically.
The
I mean,
old man has a beautiful beard.
So, I mean, some people will say, oh, big surprise.
Uh-huh.
He was the former king of Hyrule.
Yeah.
Robus
Yeah,
something
yeah,
Hyrule.
I mean, the names in this game are weird.
Oh, yeah. And that's
it
what,
reminds me
There's
of
some
like,
really strange names.
I always think it's funny
Yeah.
in fantasy games how
yeah, it's like
they have to avoid normal words and names. But it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, come on. Every once in a while you could be like,
Baruta.
welcome, this is the mountain of Jeff. And it's like, why not?
Shrivaki.
I want to meet a person named Bob.
Yeah.
Bob.
Sometimes you just, why not? I mean, I always think it's funny where, and that's how a lot of people look at fantasy stuff, where it's like, we have to create weird names. We have to do all these strange things with it.
You know what would be
Cersei.
even funnier?
Yeah.
Is if there's a character named Lonk.
Long.
In-
Lonk. Lonk or Lunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, because there were theories, speculation about who he was beforehand. I thought maybe it could be that he was... We wouldn't know who he was for a long time, and that it would be like a thing that he would be a recurring character that every once in a while he'd show up, and then maybe he was leading you to reawaken Ganon
Yeah.
or something like
Yeah.
that. That maybe that's a little too much for them to do right now.
I
Not
don't
to
know,
say the
but, I
story's
mean,
bad so far.
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
it's
say
kind of-
it's kept me intrigued.
Sure.
So
I mean, overall, it is kind of like by the numbers in a way, where
Yeah.
you're just sort of like reawakening some things. Really cool stuff about it. Loving the world so far.
oh yeah.
But let's take it back. So, what did we learn from Robus?
That he's dead. That he done messed up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. There was some planning for the
Eventual return.
Yeah, it was just a ritual. Like I don't think it's really ever been. Like they've talked about this in the previous Zelda ones,
Yeah.
where it was like, okay, whenever Ganon would show up and wreck everything, and then a hero would show up and stop him. But
Yep.
the story that we learn is that they had gotten used to this, and they were prepping for it.
Yes, they were
And
getting ready.
Yeah, they were like, he's gonna show up, and we're gonna be prepared for it.
Well, it
So
all
they
backfired.
dug up some stuff
They found some ancient
Machina.
Sheikah.
that they knew about.
Yeah.
Can we call it Machina like Final Fantasy X?
No, because this is Zelda, not
No,
Final Fantasy.
no.
Oh. But still, machines
They
that they found, and
some ancient tech, and they dug up a bunch of them.
they're like, let's make an army out of this.
Yeah, and that's where we got the Guardians.
Mhm.
That's where we learned about that. Do my best to not say the stuff that happens later. It's a little confusing right now.
Yeah.
Trying to split off what we learned from a character later on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's pretty much what we learned. I
Yeah.
think we also learned that Zelda is still alive. A lot of people died
She's
when fighting Ganon, but Zelda is still alive and has been fighting Ganon
by herself
And
this whole time.
yeah,
For the last
like
100
holding
years.
him
for the last
holding him
100
off.
years.
Yeah.
And
Do we think Zelda's going to be old when we find her?
see, I don't know.
I hope not.
I hope so.
I think that would be cool
I think that'd be pretty cool.
because a lot of there are people in the world that were alive then.
Yeah. I mean, because
Yeah.
we're
I
talking.
don't think we haven't met them at this point in the game, but there are people that know you.
Right, and we'll see that. We won't get into that right now. But yeah, so we learn all this stuff, and then
Do we know that there are the four buddies?
not for sure. Let's bring that up in the next episode.
Okay.
We got to figure out a better way to do this going
I
forward.
want to talk. I want to talk about that. So yeah, you. So where did you guys go?
I mean, really, I kind of just followed along with what it was doing because I wanted to get some good stuff.
I did too.
Did you guys just love when you hit the ground and your first objective? Defeat Ganon.
Yes, yeah. It's immediately like
basically
kill
beat
Ganon.
the game.
Okay. I intend on it, but I intend to, but not right now.
So it was really cool when I first jumped down there, and the first enemy I came across was a moblin.
Yeah, immediately craziness started.
Next level up enemy. Mm-hmm. I spent 2 or 3 hours on the Great Plateau doing all the little stuff, trying to take in everything that I could. I didn't mention before on the Great Plateau when we really got to, because the previous episode we talked about meeting the Koroks, and it was just sort of a thing where we're like, oh yeah, I think I ran into one.
Koroks are everywhere,
and yeah, that's one of the things that you find out. You can even find a few on the Great Plateau, and then once you leave, you find them all over the place.
Yeah.
I love the Koroks.
I do too.
Yeah.
They're one of my favorite things of open world games in general, because you always have in these games
just a little puzzle.
Yeah. Those kind of things would just be a collectible somewhere.
Yeah.
That you would go there and pick it up, and that's it. And you do the check mark on it. And these ones, they're all little puzzles. They're not all, there's different...
Not hard puzzles, necessarily.
Some of them
are.
Yeah.
Some of you have to, fly through things.
Yeah, you hit a marker, and then a target appears somewhere, and you got to get
there.
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah, I have seen one of those.
I see a lot of them where they give you 2 different shapes, and you got to figure out what piece is missing, and you move one block to where it's supposed to be.
I've seen that one a lot.
There's
one where you just put apple in front
apple
of
in a
a
basket.
statue.
Yeah, you put an apple in front of a little statue, and that's enough for it.
You roll a boulder down. That was one.
Pick up a boulder.
Pick up a rock.
Yeah.
And every time it's I'll see a weird thing, and then just be like, "Oh, what is
go
this?"
play with that.
And then you hear the little pop noise, that's so cute. I love that.
Every time I hear it, I'm just like, "Oh, I found one."
They're so charming.
Yeah, I love the Koroks.
But yeah, so get down there, find my first moblin, and immediately oh wow, okay, it's getting hard.
They put it as soon as you get out there.
Right. What about you
the
guys?
first thing I ran into, and I talked about this last week though, was a moblin skeleton.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what those ended up being.
You went in a different direction.
Yeah, and I went in a direction I should not have gone to.
Nice.
I ended up at the. I found 3 Gorons that were trying to have
a battle of endurance.
Yes, it was a heat endurance thing.
Because I found that too.
And I was like, I will come back here when I make food that allows me to withstand the heat.
Yeah.
And I eventually did, but it took me a while to go back there.
It was funny when you were talking about Gorons at first, because I'm like, oh, spoilers, there's Gorons in this?
Yeah.
But it's like, come on.
Yeah.
That's not a spoiler.
Yeah, you've seen the merchant, or the traveling Goron, right? Anyway.
I didn't see a Goron until I met the Zoras.
Oh.
Yeah, there's one hanging out there.
There's just one hanging out there, we'll get to that later, but yeah, I didn't see a Goron for the longest time. And
there's a silhouette of one at some point in the...
I didn't notice
that we'll get to next time. But yeah, no, I told step 1 was run immediately into moblins.
Right.
See, the first enemy I ran to after the Great Plateau, and it made me go a completely different area, was the Guardian.
So you ran into a Guardian pretty quick.
Oh yeah, because you started walking toward the castle.
I started walking towards the castle, and I was like, yeah, let's just walk up, see what's... I just wanted to get a close look at the castle.
Yeah.
That's really all I wanted to do. And then I saw this, big thing just crawling around, and then laser pointing on me. I was like, I don't know if I can handle this. One shot, dead. Yep,
Nope,
we're going somewhere else.
Yep.
He's just got housed.
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. Those things, I mean, they're are tough, and they are the toughest enemy for a long time.
For a while.
We're jumping ahead a little bit, but yeah, it took me a while before I could finally take one of those down.
Yep.
And
many hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we're on our way to the king told us a direction to go to. He told us to go to Kakariko Village.
Yes.
To meet Impa. So that's where we're going.
You start heading that way, yeah.
And What? Anything else?
Well, okay, so Dueling Peaks. You gotta go.
Oh
go down the middle of the Dueling Peaks, and you end up by the stable.
Oh yeah, we finally run into the stables there.
Yeah,
so, those are like miniature towns.
Yeah,
really cool.
It's cool.
And there's always a shrine by one.
Yeah,
so you can warp
there.
Yeah. So the first thing I did was I got through the canyon, as it were, and the Dueling Peaks, and then just turned over, looked up, and started climbing it. I climb everything.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Because I'm naked. And I have to.
I meant to bring... Yeah, we got to bring this up nearly every episode because we are almost all playing like 3 different games here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Tyler, I'll need you to go a little bit further to see if you could describe like what your goal is. Because I know with Brian, his whole thing is he wants to do it naked.
I want to be as buckers as possible.
Yeah, you want to be the very nakedest like no one ever was.
Yes.
For me, I'm trying to find the gear. Like,
I am too.
I want to go. Well, I mean,
every piece of clothing I have is upgraded as far as I. Well, okay, I've only upgraded everything once because it's all I can. But yeah, I'm keeping all my stuff upgraded. I'm just not wearing it.
Sure. Okay. Well, I mean, sure. Okay, so that's one of my focuses.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm like, and the thing is I've been to towns that you guys haven't been so far. All I did, I was like, "Where's your store for clothes?"
Yeah.
Okay, let me sell some stuff. Buy that. Bye. I'll be back in 50 hours.
See ya.
What do you think your focus is?
I'm one of those like, I'm sitting there exploring everywhere. Like, oh, did I miss something here?
Like almost going around a perimeter.
Yes. Like I've retracked places I've already been to, just because I'm like, I think I missed something there. Let's go check it out. Like, I went to the Dueling Peaks, and I was missing a lot of stuff there. Apparently.
There's 3 shrines.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. I missed 2 of them.
Now,
there's like 5 Koroks on the mountain.
I want to talk about the 2 at the top, because those shrines are really cool.
Yeah,
one of them's out at the bottom.
Well, no, there's one at the very bottom, and then there's 2 up at the top. There's one on one side, one on the other side. Mm-hmm. The ones at the top, those are the ones that I think are real standout, because... These are 2 different shrines.
You have to do them together.
Yeah, you have to memorize the patterns that you find in each of those.
How did you do it? How did you memorize? That's what I did. See? I told you, Brian.
I had my phone out and I went...
Yeah, he had his phone out and he put numbers.
5, 1, 3, 4, 2.
And
then I jumped over to the other one and I wrote it down and then I did them both.
For me, when I looked at it, I didn't think about how to read it.
Yeah.
I was just like, well, clearly I need to know this. Let me get the right angle where I get the whole thing, screenshot. And then when I went to the other one and started to lay it out, I was like, oh, okay, I can just sort of count because there's only going to be 1 in each column.
Mm-hmm. I just have good picture memory.
I get that.
That's it. I just remember everything. If I see it, I can remember it.
Yeah, the only problem with that is that it's just like you had to go back. You had to go into one, memorize it, go to the other one, get that one, then go back.
That's why I screenshot them both first. And then...
So you had to screenshot it. So you didn't just memorize it.
Well, you still have to go back and look at it.
Yeah. No.
I looked at the picture and was like, okay, back to the game.
So I have not come across any other shrine like that.
No.
I'm
not
nearly,
the ones that are connected.
I'm like nearly 50 shrines in.
These shrines are... I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Oh, the shrines. Great. So the thing about the shrines, though, is a lot of people, when they first heard, there's 4 dungeons. Dungeons have been a staple of Zelda, where you get 6, 7, 8 dungeons per game, sometimes up to 10, basically, if you sort of count them out in a certain way.
And my brother asked me, like, so is it like 8 dungeons, like normal? And I was like, I don't know.
There's like 120 dungeons.
I mean, like...
Plus 4?
We're just don't think about it in those terms, because that's not what this game is.
If you wanted to think of them like that, it'd be like mini.
Yeah.
Like mini dungeons.
Here's the way to think about it. Okay, here's the way I think about it. I think it makes the most sense. Personally.
Puzzle.
In your typical Zelda games, a dungeon would be made up of 5, 6 types of rooms that were either a puzzle or a battle.
And it's one of those rooms, each shrine.
So if you had a 10 dungeon game max, you'd be looking about 70, 80 of those kinds of rooms that you would go through throughout the course of the game. You're looking at over 100 shrines that basically take over that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not to mention what your actual dungeons are that we'll get to later on. Not to mention some of the environmental puzzles that you'll have to figure out, which we'll get to later on. There's so much to this game that you can't really distill it down to the numbers that you were used to.
Still just figuring out more stuff. Like, every time as I'm playing, I'm like, well, I didn't even know that. Oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I just, like, maybe just the other day, I just figured out that you could sit there and just cut the grass and get all those crickets and stuff.
Yeah, you can get bugs and crickets to appear that if you just keep on the grass.
And rice sometimes.
Like,
oh, yeah.
I was just like...
I love rice. I love cooking with rice.
But I think it was because I've been playing with, like blunt objects until I got, like, a sword or something.
Let's talk about the cooking for a little bit.
I love the cooking, actually. I spend too much time cooking.
Yeah, because the Great Plateau, you only really need to cook for heat.
Yeah.
Yep.
For cool.
Cold resistance.
Cold resistance. Things start to change pretty quickly there, where you need to start, crafting things to give you extra hearts.
I usually
mess
do
with
the defense boost.
extra stamina.
I do.
A little bit.
I have an overfill one.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I don't like the way they do it.
What? Just tack on a little bit at the end?
Yeah, it's once you run out your other one, which I get it, but it's like at first I wasn't thinking about it, and it's just sort of it's something I could get used to.
Yeah.
Also, getting used to something, I did switch the jump buttons,
so
I'm kind of playing
that.
an inverted one. Oh, it's if you've spent like 4 or 5 hours playing in a certain way, it is so hard to do it, but because it takes another 4 or 5 hours of getting used to it.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that I made the adjustment.
Yeah, because then your jump that would be like, because when you Z target,
it's so much easier to dodge to jump around. Yeah, when you do it that way.
Yeah, you know what? I could see that.
I've just gotten used to it now. I probably won't change it.
Yeah, it's hard to. It was really hard. I had to force myself, and I went back once, and then I started playing around with it. I'm like, no, there's a reason I wanted to do this in the first place. My advice, as early as you can, switch the jump. Switch to the B. It's in the options. You can, it'll swap.
Yeah, there's a controller.
Jump and sprint. And they knew. They clearly knew. Yeah. Like, they could have not had any. They could have either had entire button swap to like button map, whatever you wanted, or just not had that at all. But the fact that they had this switch on there, they knew.
Yeah.
They knew when they were doing it. This is a little weird. We got to switch it there.
Well, what do you mostly cook? What do you? Yeah.
I mostly cook to sell.
Okay.
I mostly cook. I collect as much as I can, and I do a lot of amiibo stuff, and I get a lot of fruit, vegetables, and stuff like that, and a lot of mushrooms and herbs. So I can make a lot of money off that. Now I can tell you guys, when the hard mode comes out, I'm not doing any amiibo stuff. Because it's easy to argue that playing with the amiibos is kind of the cheating way to do it. Because you get a lot of bonus stuff.
You do get a lot of stuff.
But the thing is I spent over $1,000 on amiibo. I'm going to get there.
Yeah, you're fair enough. I mean, if you have them, you might as well use them. But what about you, Brian? What do you mostly cook?
Well, Brian's naked, so he has to cook.
I cook lots of stuff. I mean, I keep like a few of everything on hand.
That's what I try to do.
I have a lot of stealth potions.
Okay.
Because I'm
not good at the
I'm playing
elixirs.
A lot of stealth. I'm avoiding.
Are weird.
So I do want to talk about elixirs, but like I'm playing. I'm doing a lot of avoiding encounters.
Sure. Yeah.
But also, like, I'll take stuff down. But I try to avoid as much as I can.
Sometimes that's a smart thing to do. I mean, really, because it's like you may just end up wasting your weapons.
Because a lot of it is that. And then the other thing I'll do is I will break a weapon on someone, killing them, and then just pick up their weapon. And use that till I break that, and then pick up their weapon, and like just keep. That way, like I keep my good stuff, and I'm only like using their clubs and breaking their clubs on them.
I love the treasure chest that only unlock when you take out a bunch of enemies. And it does the boxing ding 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 at the end of it.
Yeah.
I love
the eyes
that.
change color.
Yeah, every time you finish and it does that.
It's pretty sweet.
Oh, it's so great.
I love the music for when you're cooking.
Yeah, so good.
It's great, and I love it when you make a bad item. It's like just everything, just dropping and everything breaking. Yeah, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
As far as potions go, I have never had a rancid potion.
I have. I had dubious food from.
I've had dubious.
Well, that's because you threw. Yeah, it's because you put food in there.
Yeah.
You can't. There are two different things. There is food, and then there is elixir. Elixir is
critters,
bugs, and
monster.
But you see, that's the thing is I only used bugs and stuff, and I used what was it? A lizard and a butterfly, and then the bokoblin stuff, and it.
So. What I found is that there are a few items that don't say like anything. They don't say what they do, or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I put a key swing in every single potion I make.
Oh,
because the way that it is described, and I can't remember how it is. We could all just turn on our switches right now. But,
that's fine.
The way it's described in there, it's described in such a way that it is essential base building block for elixir.
Oh, it says that for a couple things.
Yeah, so like I will put a key swing in, a monster part or two in, and then the effect that I want.
Okay.
So
I
don't mix monster parts. I mean, I may like if they're both Moblin pieces or they're both Lizflo pieces. Or Lizflos, or
Lizaphos.
Yes.
Lizafos.
I've
always said Lizaphos.
All these dumb names.
Yeah.
They've been around for a while.
But you've never had to, like, how often do you actually have to say it out loud?
When I do, it's usually around people who mispronounce it the same way that I mispronounce it.
Right.
I used to call Kakariko Kakairo because I wasn't actually reading it all the way through.
Sure, yeah, you get all that shit.
Shikaya, I think we were talking about that the other day.
Like Shika?
You're like, it's Shika. And I'm like, I know, but I've said Shikaya ever since like 7th grade, so sorry.
Yeah, you move the letter around.
Yeah, I jump an I.
I'm just waiting for a proper guide that I can just look through to figure out the formula for making. Because, I mean, at the start of it, single buffs
I can tell
are
you
fine. When you get to later stuff, it's like I need 3 level buffs.
The best thing that
because the stealth the single
I've made some high level stealth ones.
Yeah.
What you want to use silent princesses for the high level.
Oh
stuff.
yeah, okay. See, that would make sense because it doesn't say in its description what it does.
Doesn't.
But
it'll tell you that you can use it for a certain effect, but it doesn't tell you which one's better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to say don't use your silent princesses for cooking because they are important for some gear that you get later.
Oh, I've been using them for that too.
Okay. But they're one of the harder ones to find.
Okay.
Not if you know where to look.
Okay, never mind.
I know where to look too.
Yeah.
I mean, I have
trouble finding them. So.
I go there like
every 2 hours.
Yeah, I go there every couple hours because there's another thing there that I want.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about the same place.
I think so.
Which we'll talk about next episode probably.
Yes.
But I'm really good at the cooking. I made a some kind of food. It was a meat food, and it gave me plus 15 hearts.
Oh, I love when it does that.
Oh,
when you finish something up and it gives you the yellow extra hearts, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Although I look at it just like, you're going to be really expensive.
Yeah.
That's how I always look at it.
That was the best one
I'm going to sell you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to take a screenshot of this recipe so I can remember it, and then I'm going to sell you.
Okay, so to close out this episode, though, real talk, you got something else?
I mean, is this the first place you guys found horses?
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about
jump on horses.
I got one horse. I got my first. I still only have the one horse.
I only have one.
He's somewhere. Mm. I don't use the horses.
I'd rather not.
I did to look around to look around that area behind the Dueling Peaks. Mm-hmm. I explored it all on horseback. It's a little awkward, but I got used to it.
I just don't because I like to climb over things, and whenever I was on the horse, it was like, I was like, gosh.
I mean that whole wooded area, I explored that all on horseback, and then I climbed up everything. Went and found that those 2 guys were looking for the treasure.
Yep.
At the top of the waterfall.
Yeah.
And so I had to climb up.
I like
that.
those guys. You haven't seen those?
Nope.
It's a quest
pretty funny.
at the stable.
They're just like one guy's the Goofus and Gallant sort of thing.
Yeah.
Where one guy's like, we're gonna find the treasure. Don't tell him that sort of thing. And it's just like and then he's just like, well, okay, fine, we'll tell him for 100 rupees. And you're like, okay, sure.
Yeah, here.
And they tell you, and you're like, okay, I know where that is.
People are
I'll
greedy
do
on
this.
See you later.
People are greedy on this game.
I don't blame him.
No, I mean,
rupees are hard to find if you don't know what's going on.
What'd you name your horse?
So my horse, it is a white horse with like brown spots, and I named it Chalky.
Okay.
Because between me and my wife, we have a little joke. When she was little and she wanted her mom to make her chocolate milk, she said she wanted Chalky.
Oh.
So it's just a little joke that whenever we make chocolate milk, it was we call it Chalky. And when I saw the horse, it was like white, and it looked like, you have little chocolate bits floating around with it. I was like, that's Chalky.
Oh. Yeah, my first horse, I can't say the name. Because
this is a clean podcast.
Well, we're trying our best. But I just was like, I took the horse to register it, and it was like, you want to name it? And I was like, baby, I can name the horse. What should I name it? And she just yelled like the first thing off the top of her head, which was just
expletive.
Yeah, expletive deleted. and then I started typing it in, and she looks up and was like, wait, you're going with that? And I was like, yeah,
well,
of course.
That's why I asked.
But
did they let you do it?
Yep.
There wasn't anything.
Oh, yep, just fine.
New age of Nintendo.
Yeah.
So I put him in the stable.
I've always had to put
just in case I needed one there.
Decimals.
Yeah,
or something
true.
to block
you don't
off
have to
the
do
letter.
lead speak.
Yeah. So I stuck him in the stable, and then I found another horse, and this one he was white with little brown spots on his butt, so I named him Butt Spots.
Butt Spots, there you
And
go.
so Butt Spots is my horse that's wandering the land, and
They move. They go in there. They kind of move around, don't they?
I
Well, you
haven't
can
really
get
seen
from
him
any
move around
stable.
too much.
I know that.
Well, I just have one. If I look on the map, it says it's right here, surrounded by guardians. I'm like, oh, he did.
Yeah. I'm not going back for him.
I'll go back for him eventually when I'm a bad A.
Yeah.
The only horse I got is
McBaddington.
I got it from the Amiibo.
Oh, okay.
And
So you got
and I got Epona. And I only found out because I went to go register the horse at the stable, and he's like, "Wait, you can't rename this horse. This is a horse of legend.
What's wrong with you?
That's like a law. There's like a law against it." And I was like, "Oh, whoa."
Isn't it weird? It was just like, you can go, that's the horse of legend. Anyway, how can I help you? Like, just
Yeah,
doesn't bat
yeah.
an eye to it. Being like, that's the horse of legend.
Yeah. So I didn't even know until then.
I'm a crap my pants.
Does it
How may I help
have
you?
the chip in its ear or something like that? That
I
they
didn't.
can
Got an
scan
earring.
it to know
Got an earring.
what to scan it to be like, oh, that's Epona. So how do we pronounce it?
Epona.
I actually say Epona.
Epona, yeah.
So-
Epona.
So it's Epona.
I don't know.
2-1.
I've always just
Pony.
said,
Yeah.
yeah. I've always
That's where it comes from. So
Pony.
Epona.
Okay.
That's where I always got it from.
Okay. Okay.
That's just how I've always sent it since Ocarina.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's just me.
I get that.
That's-
I mean,
Right,
since
that's fine.
I've been little, I've always
Absolutely.
argued with friends on how you pronounce this.
No, I don't ever.
Especially
I
in
was like,
Nintendo.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah. Well, especially Zelda
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
in Nintendo we don't get voice acting. Speaking of which,
Yeah.
I was saying earlier, real talk, the voice acting is really bad.
You don't like it?
It's Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, I kind of like it.
Like, it's... I'm sorry.
I haven't.
From the memories, man, that I've seen.
Okay,
I
here's
like
the thing.
it.
So, okay, we'll talk about some memory stuff. Probably not, maybe not in the next one, but in the one after that, we'll talk about, like, maybe the first memory that we all saw. I think we maybe all saw the first one. But, okay, just to break it down, it's like, yeah, there were a couple voice actors where it's like, okay, that's good. I think the voice actor for the King is just bad.
Oh,
Like,
well,
it was
yeah,
just
that
like,
one,
I was
yeah.
like, this is just terrible.
Oh.
For Zelda, that's
I
okay.
like Zelda's. That's the one I was
There's
talking
some
about.
parts where she just sounds so worn out, Link.
Okay,
Where it's
yeah.
like,
The
okay.
Blood Moon. The Blood Moon.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that next episode.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
really want to talk
but
about
that
but there's when
little
it does
Neo
stuff
sample.
like that, yeah, when it does that, you hear that so many times where it's just sort of like, okay, I get it if you're holding off this giant demon that you're getting worn out, but it's like, that's a little grating eventually. Not to say she's a bad voice actress or
Stop
anything like
saying it though.
that. When you skip it, yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear it the last one I saw.
It does it every single time I get
Yeah,
mine.
yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, maybe he had a glitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't like the voice acting. I thought what was the one, or we'll get to him later. For the voices that we've heard so far, Zelda and the King, Zelda's okay. King, I thought was just terrible.
I haven't had I haven't really noticed enough to dislike any of it.
I'm more on that, but I would say I like Zelda's a lot more than the King's.
I don't really remember the Kings very well, so.
So we'll wrap it up for this episode. In our next episode, we're going to talk about our arrival to good old Kakariko Village.
Absolutely.
Oh man, I can't wait to talk about that one.
Yeah.
It's such a jolly little place. Thank you all for listening. If you would like, you can follow us on Twitter at Chat of the Wild. We also have a Facebook page at Chat of the Wild, where you can see us post little Zelda memes. We share pictures of our adventures and
see my buck naked Link
stuff. Yeah, you can see his naked Link.
I accidentally earlier tonight broke my trusty mop
Oh no!
because I usually just walk around with a mop on my back.
That's just how he is.
Butt naked. Yeah, he's ready to clean at any time.
Also, we do another video game podcast that isn't directly Zelda, although, we'll talk about Zelda and Nintendo in every single episode, basically.
Well, especially when that's all we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, right now,
Yes.
that's all we're doing is playing Zelda on our Switch, so that's all we want to talk
I was
about.
playing Zelda
But that
and
is-
watching Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing. I'm not kidding.
Oh, no, I believe you. I spent enough time with you. I believe you.
Yeah.
That is Just Another Video Game Podcast.
Yeah.
You can find that looking up Just Another Video Game Podcast on iTunes and YouTube, which I don't think I plugged that for Chat of the Wild. If you're listening to this on iTunes, you can also find it on Google Play and YouTube. If you find it on YouTube, vice versa.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you all for listening, and we will talk at you next time.
Yeah.
Peace.